Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 3-0 Take, where we talk all things Major League Baseball. Here's Kyle Corwin and Nate Reyes. It all starts right now.
Welcome back to the 3-0 Take, presented by Big League Chew. This is episode 314. I'll be your host, Kyle Corwin, and I'm here with my co-host, Nate Reyes. Nate.
Happy last regular season Monday. How crazy is that? We made it.
Some of us a little easier than others. Some of us are crawling to the finish line. And let me just take this moment to congratulate those who made it to this point without a team in the hunt. Whether their team was bounced in May, July, or even last month. The fact that you're still here, you're still grinding it out, putting in that time, putting in that work.
That's tough.
I applaud you.
Yeah. It's not easy, as I can imagine. So.
Yeah, you don't have that problem, but.
No, I'm doing okay.
Yeah, you're doing all right.
Yeah. How are you doing? How does it feel to have had your last birthday in your 20s?
Makes me feel real old.
Kind of lame, huh?
It sucks. I'll be honest with you. It doesn't make me feel great. Went over and saw the family yesterday, and Dad was talking to me, and he was like, "Well, you might feel old, but I feel almost ancient." And I was like, "Well."
Cool.
He's like, yeah. He's like, this makes me feel real old, the fact that you're going to be 30 next year. And
yeah, it's good. It's good to have something to look forward to.
It's like Joey. Why? No, God. Why me? Not me. The others, but not me. That's how I feel.
Yeah. Yep. I don't feel like I'm at my peak either. I feel like everyone talks about being at your peak in your 20s. I'm like, I don't feel at my peak. I feel like peak was back a ways a little bit.
Oh, I thought you were going to go optimistic there. I thought you were going to be like, I still got better years ahead of me, but you're saying...
No, I think physically, it's definitely not right now.
Oh, yeah,
You know
definitely not right now. Absolutely not.
That ship sailed a while ago.
many a year ago.
Yeah.
We might have wisdom.
It's kind of sad.
We might have wisdom to garner down the road, but physically we're tapped out. We've seen that ship. It sailed.
Yeah. I tweaked my ankle like a month ago, and it's still, I don't even know. I don't even know. That's just what life is now. Just a tweaked ankle.
That's kind of how Mets fans are feeling right now.
Oh,
coming back down to earth.
Whoops.
Look, I'm not gonna say anything. I told you we would be here. I didn't know in detail what it was gonna look like. I couldn't give you the specifics, but I just said, wait, just wait. And you're like, no. I mean, we're getting deeper into the season. What could and I said, just wait. Just wait.
I mean, there's still what is this current take that you have right now? How does it hold up if the Mets still make it to the NLCS?
Well, let me revisit this again, because I still feel like there's some people unclear as to where I stand on this. As we all know, this entire season, really for probably ever, I've just been not a believer in the Mets. Rightfully so. They're not a team to believe in.
Rightfully so, yeah.
They're not a team to believe in. But as of maybe a month and a half ago, I did go on my little rant there where I said, you know what? The Mets are real. The Mets are here to stay. And I have a confession to make. I was drugged that morning. That's the only explanation as to why I would have said those things, because I didn't believe that. And in fact, I bet you if you go back and look at the video footage, I probably have my fingers crossed somewhere, maybe out of frame, but they have to be crossed somewhere, because I would never say something like that. I would never believe in something like that.
I believe that Meredith may have been on the other side of the camera with a gun pointed at you, and you were reading off a teleprompter.
Oh,
that's probably what I can assume. That's
probably what happened. I admittedly I can't remember because I was drugged and I was on the verge of a blackout. But
yeah.
That's really the only explanation, because
you were awfully lucid for being drugged.
I don't know what I was thinking or saying at that moment in time.
Sure.
But look, here we are. This was the series. This was the series where it was going to be determined. Sure, there's an outlet, there's an avenue for something to change, but the division's over. The Mets, they had a 10.5 game lead. 10.5 game lead. And now they're on the outside looking in for the division. And I'm hearing people saying, well, it wasn't a true collapse. The Braves just played great baseball. I would have believed that a little while ago, but maybe try to win one game in Atlanta. Just one. That's all I ask. Just one. If you want to call this a mini Met, did the Mets Met? Maybe not. Did they mini Met? Possibly.
This is a slight Met for sure. This is definitely a slight Met. Yeah.
And you can't tell me that there's a single Mets fan out there that's feeling the same kind of swagger that they were feeling 2-3 months ago. They're going.
Oh, no. They're nervous.
The Mets are the embodiment of that meme where the guy is just pissed, but he's got that smiling mask on and he's just pissed behind it. That's exactly what they're feeling right now, because they're going, well, we still made it to the postseason. Congrats. You had a 10.5 game lead. You could have cakewalked to the division if you really wanted to. But here we are. The Braves stepped up, and I don't want to go down this road again, because Braves fans, unbelievably so, are feeling themselves. It's nauseating, truthfully. But look, I don't know what to tell you. I was drugged. I never believed in the Mets. That was never a thing. And you're seeing exactly why I said what I said play out in front of you right now.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair, I guess. What do you want me to say? I can't sit here and defend the Mets. Like, this was bad. You had DeGrom, Scherzer, and Bassett with a 1 game lead.
Let's say that. Let's run through that again. The Atlanta Braves beat Jacob DeGrom, they beat Max Scherzer, and they beat Chris Bassett.
I mean, that's your first 3 you're rolling out in a division and championship series, right?
These are the additions you were touting. Great additions. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But for the same reasons that, and not to make this a Bryce Harper thing, but for the same reason people want to go after Harper last year, the way he finished up the season in Atlanta or towards the end of the season, it's like you didn't show up when you needed to show up. You could say the same thing about these 3 individuals, and now you're looking at a wild card spot. I don't know what to tell you.
This is huge. This was a huge series, and not so good. Not so good. What do you think Queens is like today? A lot of crime, I bet, going on in Queens today.
I don't know what crime has to do with
a lot of Met on Met crime, I feel like. Just anger.
I tell you what, man, I could not be more done with the Mets, man.
Can we assume it's done? Because they're both playing the bottom feeders. The Mets have the Nationals, the Braves have the Marlins.
Let's see. Yeah, Atlanta goes Miami. New York plays against the Nats. I think it's either if one team wins or if the Mets lose or the Braves win, it's it, right?
Yeah. I guess. It's a 2-game lead, so.
And if it ends in a tie, Atlanta wins the division because they have the season series advantage, 10-9.
So basically, for the Mets to win the division,
they'd have to win out. The Braves would have to lose out.
Braves only need one.
Braves only need one, or the Mets to lose one.
That's how it came down to it. The New York Mets are hoping that the Braves get swept by the Miami Marlins. They met it. There's no other way to say it. I still think they're fine. I still think they're going to be okay. I still think they're probably going to make a decent run. But they met it. And they did this to themselves. Yikes.
I think what made it even sweeter for the Braves is with last night's sweep win, gave them 100 wins on the season.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's just poetry.
Yeah, a little bit.
If I'm being honest with you.
A little bit.
Like, the Mets did not show up at all.
Yeah.
You put your best out there and you walk out of there with not a single win.
Yeah.
No, but it's fine. I'm being told that the Mets are going to be okay in the postseason. I'm told that this is a juggernaut, despite the reality that the Braves are now in line to be the second team in the National League. I was told that it was Dodgers, Mets, 50 feet of crap, and then everyone else. But here we are, 3 games left in the season, and we're looking at the Braves being the number 2 team in the National League behind the Dodgers. Again, that's the Braves. I didn't say the Mets. That's the Braves.
Yeah. Yeah.
So where does this leave us with the apology letter? That's what everybody wants to know.
I basically feel like the only way you can deliver an apology letter at this point is if they make it to the World Series.
Yeah, they really lost some credibility over the weekend. Like,
they did. It was.
I was ready to come to the table as an adult, but after this showing, like, you're gonna have to prove something to me.
Yeah, I think they have to. I think World Series is tough. So maybe would they ever line up for the Braves? I think winner of that.
I believe as it stands right now, the Mets are in line to host the best of 3 wild card series. The Braves would earn a first round bye.
So the Mets would be hosting the Padres, right?
Yeah.
And then winner of that moves on to the Braves. And then the Dodgers are going to get that 3rd place wildcard team. Right?
Yeah.
Is that how this works?
I think. I would need to double check. The format's
I don't get it.
A little foggy. Yeah. It's a little tricky.
Let's see.
While you're doing that, let me play this voicemail because I don't want that to be lost here. We do have a voicemail. I meant to play it earlier in the episode, but I don't want to get too deep into this thing without playing the voicemail. So let's see what we got here.
Hey fellas, AJ Torres from Danbury, Connecticut. I know that Donnie Baseball is out for a manager in the Marlins organization, and I can't really blame him. I don't think anyone can, but I'm kind of looking where he can go. And the one thing that really just kind of, I guess you can say, sticks out is if you go over to Cleveland, I know the Yankee fan in me is saying, you know what? You shouldn't like this guy, but I don't mind him. Terry Francona, his health is in jeopardy and it's kind of in limbo. That said, with the team that only had a 7% chance of making the playoffs going into the season starting, is there a chance that Donnie Baseball comes in and steers the ship for Cleveland sometime? I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are. Take it easy, guys. And go Donnie Baseball. Should be in the Hall of Fame. The old head stuck in the 1950s porked him. Take it easy.
Just the coolest. Why are we even hosting this? I think he needs to be just talking for us.
We'll just send him our scripts, and he can just be like an audio book. People can just tune in and listen for the audio.
Oh, I love it.
I'm all about it.
To answer the just real quick, the Braves are lined up to get the winner of the Cardinals Phillies as of right now.
Right. Yeah. That's right. We mentioned that last episode.
So Mets Padres winner would go meet LA. So that means the Braves would not be seeing, if they get to see the Mets again, it would not be happening until the NLCS. But can the Mets make it through the Dodgers? Ugh. I don't know. All right, anyway, Donnie Baseball. I don't see him getting a job right away. This just kind of seems like this is the trend of those older managers, those old school managers where they take a few years off. And I think if he wants to stay relevant, he's probably going to get into some broadcasting. He's going to get into some MLB Network stuff. This is just the way it always goes, right? He's probably going to be off for a year. You're never going to hear from him for the next year. And then he's going to sneak into some other, type of situation. Girardi, same boat. We saw it with Buck Showalter for years, where he deserved another manager job, but he didn't get one for a while. So it's like, I think this is how old heads are treated, So I don't see him going anywhere. I don't see the Cleveland fit just because of how young they are. You know what I mean? Like, you got a young team, and I feel like you gotta kind of get somebody that's a little more connected with the younger group. Like, a younger manager is easier to go with it. There's a lot of weirdness going around the White Sox, the Guardians, the Marlins. Like, you don't know what you're going to be seeing next step-wise. Who stepped in for the Guardians when Tito was out?
Oh, it was I'm blanking on his name.
I know the name. It's gonna bug me. I see his face right now, but I can't think of the name.
I see it too. Carl Willis.
It's not who I saw. I don't know why I was thinking somebody else.
Yeah, that's exactly what I saw.
I feel like when younger teams kind of start to turn the corner and you feel like the best is ahead and they have somewhat of a clearer path of where they're going, right? Like the Guardians, they're starting to put something together, right? Like you could tell they have pieces that are going to be a young core that could, potentially stick up for them, for each other and kind of be that Guardian group that grew up together. You could see a little bit of that starting to happen. When that starts to happen, I feel like you hire within. You go grab a minor league manager, somebody that knows these kids for the last few years and has that trust and connection already. And then they, I think it's a hire within situation for the Guardians. As far as next landing spot for Donnie Baseball, I don't know. Philly?
Yeah, I don't know why that came to mind immediately, but possibly. But do you run into a similar Joe Girardi situation.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Kansas City?
I could see a little of that. Yeah, 'cause I feel like they're further away than the Guardians, you know? With that, that's with the assumption that Matheny's out, right? I mean,
I would, yeah.
I think, yeah.
I would go out on that limb.
Yeah. What about the Marlins? What do they do? Higher within? Same thing?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know how to feel about the Marlins. We do have the Marlins to thank, though, for taking it to the Brewers this weekend.
So that solidified. I mean, what is that at now?
Like, we could not
Distance
have
between-
painted a better picture for that. We said, or you said, I should say, that like, imagine being inspired by Brewers baseball, and then they play the Marlins at home and lose 3 of 4?
Mm-hmm.
3 of 4 to the Marlins.
2 back from the Phillies for that third wild card spot.
Unreal. So we've been back and forth on the Marlins this year. Admittedly, a lot more negative as of late, but just want to give a little shout out to the Marlins for doing what they needed to do to make the Phillies' dreams come true. Let's stick here with the NL East for just a little bit longer here. We do have a hot take highlight from our chalkboard group.
If you're not on chalkboard already, what are you doing? I mean, like, don't you want to hang out with us?
Yeah, we've explained it. If you're into sports betting, it's a great place for it. But if you're not into that, and you just want to
chat,
you just want to chat with the boys, chat with some other baseball fans.
Yeah, trust me, the group chat that's in there, they're all pretty sick of each other. We need to sprinkle in some new blood
already. I mean,
yeah.
You want to talk about blood? Like, people are going for blood in some of these group chats.
Yeah,
it gets
get in there. Also, if you're, because we're gonna run through these hot takes, a couple here. If you're not
just
super comfortable doing the voicemail route, if you don't like your voice, if you don't have the confidence to do it, hit up the hot takes in chalkboard. Throw a little action in there. We also have a questions for the pod channel in there. So if you want to communicate with us, basically what we're saying is it's chalkboard or bust. If you're not using it by the end of the week, you're dead to me. Someone had to say it.
You want to talk about a hot take?
Someone had to come out and just be honest about it. That's
fair. Yeah, look, end of the week. I mean, the postseason starts at the end of the week, and if you're not on board, I'm sorry.
What are you doing?
You're gonna have to
just
wait.
Watching alone? You watching at home, and your wife is just like, when is this game supposed to be over? I got to start dinner. You know, and then you're just alone. You're sitting in that alone, or you download Chalkboard using the link in our bio. Come talk to the boys that are in a similar position.
Yeah, because at that point you'll have an out.
Ground.
You'll have an out. If you're just watching a game by yourself, you're like, man, I guess I gotta help.
Boys.
Gotta help with dinner. Gotta help with the dishes. But at least you have an out. You can blame us. You're like, sorry, babe. Gotta keep up with the chat with the boys while this game's on, because this is can't miss baseball, and it's can't miss conversation with Kyle and Nate and the rest of the 3-0 Take fam.
So,
link in the bio.
Simple as that.
You'll see it. But with that said, one of the hot takes recently submitted on here was from James, username Let's Go Fish, self-proclaimed Marlins fan. He says the Braves won't make it past the division series. I, for one, am shocked.
Like we talked about,
I, for one, am shocked that this would come from a Marlins fan, but
yeah, Like we talked about, barring any weird scenarios in these last 3 games, they're set to line up against winner of Cardinals Phillies. If they get the Cardinals, it's a good matchup. If they get the Phillies, I think that's a sweep scenario, right? Like, they know them so well. Even if the Phillies find a way to pull that out against the Cardinals, which I don't see happening. I got to be honest. I think the Braves are going back to the World Series.
Oh my, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you can say, nothing to say at this point. You've already let the cat out of the bag. I was going to say we have to do our postseason bracket predictions next episode, but I guess you've already alluded to half of your bracket. So
no, I just said I think right now. I didn't do any research. This isn't a final. This isn't a final answer.
Nothing's written in stone right now. You can
right.
I'll allow it if you want to make a change.
If anybody watched Who Wants to Be a Millionaire growing up, you got to have the option for final answer. I didn't give a final answer yet. I'm just talking, just thinking out loud. Nobody freak out. By the way, the AL is set. If you want to run through that at some point today.
Oh, we'll get into that.
Officially good to go. That's whew.
But before we do that, you
stoked.
You mentioned Phillies. Let's talk Phillies. Now that you mentioned the AL field being set, the Mariners have ended the drought. Again, we'll get into that in just a minute. Next longest drought, Philadelphia Phillies. 11 years. They went into D.C. this weekend in a rainy, muddy, messy D.C. I can speak from experience. I was here. And they took 3 or 4 from the Nationals. Just a reminder, the Brewers dropped 3 or 4 from the Marlins.
Ugh, yikes.
I got a little note here. It says, entering their 4-game series with the Nats, the Phillies had lost 10 of their last 13 games, holding a half-game lead over the Milwaukee Brewers.
They clutched up. That's what you got to do.
Phillies will clinch a wild card spot with their next win or Brewers loss.
I think we're good to go, right? Who do the Brewers have? Let's check the books here. They got the Diamondbacks, who have not been a pushover.
They have not.
They have not been a pushover.
Ooh, but the Phillies have Houston.
Yeah, but
in Houston.
I feel like this is like a C lineup kind of situation for Houston, right?
Yeah, I'll take I'm not going to say I'm going to take a Houston B or C lineup, but I'm also not going to write them off either. Going up against Philly.
Yeah. I think they only need 1, right?
Just need 1.
I think they get 1. And I think
if you go in and get swept and the Brewers manage to lose 1, you're still in the clear. So
Right. I think the Diamondbacks are going to say, let's go play spoiler. And Houston is like, we have bigger fish to fry. I don't even care about the Phillies. We'll never see them. And let's just get our guys right. So, no. Give me Phillies getting 1. Probably a lost 2 out of 3 type of stumble into the postseason. And then
classic Philly fashion.
I think Brewers get 1, but it's too late. It's going to be late in the series. Brewers. Adorable. What kind of race was this? I was way hyped.
It wasn't
for this additional postseason spot, and this is lame.
It wasn't a race. It was a stumble. It was a postseason stumble.
That's what you get. This is what we talked about at the beginning of the year, right? This is what we talked about. When you add in a third team and you start creeping into NBA status where you're letting half the league into the postseason, this is what you get. You get bad baseball from mediocre teams down the stretch, and they stumble into the postseason. On the other side, say what you will about the Mariners, I think they do belong in the postseason. This wasn't like a last spot, Mariners got it kind of thing. The AL East was stupid good, and the Houston Astros look like a world beater at the top of their division. The Astros are dominating the AL West, right? So the Mariners aren't the same category. But you look at the NL side, well, are we really 3 days down the stretch here? 3 days left, and we're talking about the Phillies and the Brewers. I couldn't be less into those series. I'm not watching a single pitch of either of those series. I'm just waiting for the final score to come across my feed. That's it. Bad baseball from bad teams, and whoever gets the Cardinals, whether it's the Phillies or the Brewers, are going to hit a buzzsaw. That's the way I see it. At least on the AL side, you can say the Mariners coming out of that spot kind of believe in it a little bit. The Blue Jays kind of believe in it a little bit. The Phillies? The Brewers? Ew. Philly fans aren't even believers in Phillies. They're all Eagles right now. The Eagles are 4-0. They're all Eagles. They have officially written off the baseball season if you live in Philadelphia. So don't even talk to me about the Phillies doing anything. I just want to see a Bryce Harper show and typical other Philly letdowns.
I'm so on board with the Phillies. I mean, who else am I pulling for at this point?
I know. You really gotta hope.
And that's not just like a recent thing. Like I go back to spring training. I told you, and I've referenced this text. I texted you and I said there's something about this Philly team that gives me the warm and fuzzies.
Why don't you go Cardinals?
That's boring. We've talked about it. They're the Wonder Bread team of baseball. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's just that's who they are. It's the Cardinal way. They brand that. But it's just like,
So you're saying you said it since spring training, the Phillies are that warm and fuzzy team that you're going for on the NL side.
You know what? I'm gonna look this up because I've referenced this, but I've just kind of beaten around the bush as to what I said, but I'm gonna find this.
I feel like I supported you in that statement. I feel like I said a little something as well. What a letdown, though. What a letdown. I was hoping for like a 3-team race at the top of this division. It's just bad baseball.
Yeah, not great. All right, here we go. Here it is. Not gonna lie. Saturday, March 19th at 1:01 p.m. Not gonna lie, ... I'm kind of feeling it with the Phillies for this season. And you said, same, dude.
I think you could have delivered that a little bit better, but
you're right. I didn't give the full effect. You said, same, dude. Ha ha.
It was probably like, same, dude.
No, there was no
like
extra
that.
E's. No. There was no exclamation points. You literally said, same, dude. Ha ha.
Yeah, whatever. Trash. But do you, boo-boo. You got nothing else going on. I get it. You got to pick a team. I'll give you that. I don't remember ever hearing you support this team throughout the season, but you do you. You do you.
Are you for real?
I
how many
don't
times
remember
throughout the
any Phillies supportive comments throughout the year.
How many times this season have I said we need Bryce Harper in the postseason?
Yeah,
who does Bryce Harper play for?
I agree with you. But that's it. You've been a Bryce Harper supporter.
Sure. But in order for him to do that, by default, in order for him to make it into the postseason, by default, the Phillies have to take him there.
There's been no other statements. Prove to me that you are now a Phillies fan. Run me through their game 1 lineup.
You want me to? I'll show you I'm a Phillies fan. You want me to light this Mets merch on fire?
Run me through a game 1 lineup.
You want me to light this Mets merch on fire that you sent me? I'll do it.
Run me through a
To
game
the delight
1
of
lineup.
Phillies and Braves fans, I'll do it.
Run me through it. Come on.
I'll do it.
What do you got?
All right, leading off. I know we can't play in the field, but you got Bryce Harper hitting 1. Second, you got Bryce Harper hitting 2. Fill out the rest of the middle of the lineup with Bryce Harper, and then
I told you.
make it work. 7, 8, 9. I don't need to give you the score
All
sheet.
I'm saying is that you are claiming that you're a season-long Philly supporter. When in
never
reality,
said that. I
you've
said
been a
I
season-long
wanted to see
Bryce
the Phillies
Harper
in the
supporter.
postseason. I'm not going to sit here and read off stats for 1 through 9 and their rotation.
All right.
Whatever, man. Whatever.
Uh,
Go Phils. Go Phils. I don't need that Wonder Bread Cardinals nonsense. Give me the nose to the
little,
grindstone, that gritty Philly ball.
That little ceremony yesterday didn't give you any warm and fuzzies on the Cardinals side.
Oh, it gave me the warm and fuzzies. It gave me the warm and fuzzies. That was cool. But I don't want to talk about that right now. I want to talk about the Mariners.
I mean, they did it in fashion.
The reason I want to talk Mariners
Our boy Dave knocked it out of the park again.
again. The only reason I want to talk Mariners now
Sheesh.
is because you mentioned teams to follow in the postseason, and this is a fan favorite amongst baseball fans, I would say.
Mhm.
For teams that
Yeah.
or for fans that don't have a team in the hunt, this is what many are calling
It's true.
America's team.
It's true. It's very valid. Very valid. They're tired of seeing the Astros, right? I think everyone is. Everyone hates the Yankees. And I mean, no one cares about Cleveland. Literally nobody.
Except Cleveland. Cleveland is very much like us against the world,
Yeah.
which I respect.
Yeah.
they
You got to
own
take that. But I mean, it's not like they chose. That was chosen for them. If the Mariners aren't in this postseason, are the Guardians America's team? There's a little bit of a better underdog story, I think.
Yeah, let's look at the field here, just so I can visualize it. So we got the Yankees, we got Toronto, we got Tampa, Cleveland, Houston, Seattle, Atlanta, the Mets, the Cardinals, Dodgers, Padres, and presumably the Phillies. Yeah, I think by default.
Yeah, I think
Guardians.
so too. Yeah. No one else really fits the bill for me. I mean, the Rays, like, no one respects the Rays. It's the organization, the stadium. It's just like,
I'll be
good
honest
for
with
you
you.
for being good with development and stuff. but
Right. And for me, I'm just waiting until that whole system dies out.
I know. It's
like, cool, you're making do with what you got, and you're
Yeah.
finding a way to make it work, but we're just waiting for you to kind of go away because you're really just a thorn in everybody's side.
right. And no one likes rooting for you because you're
No.
like anti-baseball. It's weird. And Blue Jays, I mean, I don't know. You can't really be America's team in Toronto, so they're out.
They could if they wanted to be,
I guess if they wanted to be.
especially in today's day and age. You can be whatever you want to be.
I
No,
guess.
let's not go down that road.
And then, yeah, I mean, Cleveland kind of has that just like super disrespected route all year.
I will say, though, whoever runs their social media, the Guardians, if you didn't know any better, you would think that the Guardians are made up of like 9 MVP caliber players because, again, whoever runs their social media will let you know.
Yeah.
That like they've tweeted. I've seen so many tweets before where it's been like, there's really no other possible option for fill in the blank, and they just fill it with an award, and it's like, well, no, there are plenty of other options, and in fact, the guy that you're saying is the winner of this award, who's on your team, isn't going to win the award. So, but I respect the Cleveland versus the world approach.
I guess.
They won 90 games, man. Season
I'm
not
not
over
going
yet.
down this road again.
No, we don't have to go. I'm just stating a fact.
I think, I mean, the only other teams you're looking at, like the Padres, I feel like the Padres this is just the world's most expensive first round exit. That's what we're looking at in San Diego. Let's be real.
That's a quote card if I've ever heard it.
Send it. Let everybody know. Not even worried about it. The most expensive first round exit, San Diego Padres. Because you spent all this money, traded away so many players, and then you take the gut punch in the PR department for what Tatis did. And you're not good.
Yeah, I don't feel, if I'm being honest, I don't feel any differently about this Padres team from last year's Padres team.
I feel more confident that the Brewers are going to sneak in the last spot than the Padres are going to
doing
be
anything of
the first
worth
round.
a note.
Yeah, there's just no way. There's no way. The Mets are going to just absolutely shove them to the side. 100%. I mean, yeah, that's all I'm going to say. Because, again, this isn't final answer stuff. This isn't final answer stuff. I will not submit my final answer.
We'll see
Who wants to be a
Thursday.
millionaire?
We'll see Thursday. No, we're back to the Mariners here. The drought's over.
Yeah.
And look, I'll be first to admit, first thought when it happened, well, they needed that extra wild card spot to do it. No.
Mm-hmm.
No. They're currently the second wild card team.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
And the uninspiring Tampa Bay Rays hold the third spot.
Mm-hmm.
So,
The
granted,
Brewers of the East, some may say.
yeah, I'm hearing it. It's making its way around out here.
It's made some rumblings.
I mean, granted, that could change by the end of the year, but as it stands right now, the Mariners are getting in as a second wild card team. So credit to them, making me eat crow.
The
And
Mariners
the way they did it,
giving me like 07 Rockies vibes.
that's a great comp. I mean, the way they got in was just. I mean, it would have been rather disappointing if they would have gotten in, backing in the door somehow with a loss from somebody else or whatever it may have been. But you go in on a walk-off home run from Cal Raleigh, a pinch hit home run, I might add.
Yeah.
That
Looked like a party too.
That moves the needle for old
They were
KC.
partying.
Oh, they were. They knew it was
Dave dropped the hey now again on us. I feel like there's a lot of special stuff coming out of Seattle. And I think you're right. Having the support of everybody else that doesn't have a dog in the hunt, or maybe the NL side of people are kind of rooting for the Mariners. I mean, I like it. I like it. They have a crazy good bullpen. They bolstered their rotation. I think Robbie Ray has an opportunity to just kind of like wash away this year. You know what I mean? Very mediocre year coming off of Cy Young. So it's like you have an opportunity to just erase that and just come dominate like in the postseason. This is your new season. I think a lot of things are lined up well for the Mariners. And the Blue Jays just seem very uninspired.
Well, I don't know if I'd say
mean?
that. I mean, granted, they're playing the Sox, but I mean, they put up some numbers.
I think they're capable of
swinging
doing stuff, but it's just like they looked flat against the Yankees last week. Real flat and boring and uninspired. Like if they don't hit, they're not going anywhere. They don't have enough pitching.
I'll say this. I'm not writing the Blue Jays off, but I'm not getting this whole you saw the trailer, now get ready for the movie. I'm not
at all.
I could not be less intimidated by this version of this team that you're putting out before us.
I would agree.
Like,
yeah.
You guys might do something small, but you're not the world beaters that you're.
What's crazy is that it's just
for.
a feel. You know what I mean? Because if you look on paper, they're a real good ball club on paper. But it's just there's not that same type of energy. I'm not getting it. You know what I mean? I'm just not getting it from them. So I like the Mariners on making a little run here. I like that. See it. But they're gonna line up with the. Don't they line up with the? Yeah, they line up Blue Jays. Rays are gonna line up with Cleveland. I mean, I love the idea of Seattle going to Houston for the ALDS on that side. And I like that. I think that's the only way to prove that you're real. If you're the Mariners, you have to go beat up your older brother in the division. You know what I mean? If you do that, I don't see anybody beating you. But they could also be that team that like treats that like that's their World Series, you know? I could see a little bit of that action going on.
Yeah. I see that.
Well, I like that. I'm going to need them to win the first round. I need a Houston-Seattle series, best of 7 situation. Need that.
You know what I need?
That is a best of 7, right? Am I losing my mind?
What?
ALDS, best of 7? Yeah.
No, ALDS is best of 5.
5?
Best of 5.
I thought
yeah,
that
in my head, I was like, that doesn't sound right, but you sounded confident, and I was like...
So we go 3, 5, 7, 7?
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be real tough.
So here's the thing. I think I may have heard a knock at the door, and I need to go check that. But in the meantime, you want to tell people about Big League Chew?
Yeah, I'm with it.
Tell them about the process of getting those pictures for National Chewing Gum Day.
The process. Get out of here. Go.
Just tell
Beat
them.
it.
I'll be right back.
Making up some story. I don't even know. I was chewing gum and I blew a bubble. I did, however, figure out how to use the timer on my camera, which I didn't really know was a thing. Maybe I'm kind of late to the game there. Which makes me think, I got one of those offers from Verizon that was like trade in your phone for the new 14, right? And I'm like, do I need it? If I don't even know how to use the timer on my camera, do I even deserve the iPhone 14. Probably not. But I digress. I'll run you through the ad one more time, and I'll show that my phone isn't even a part of this because we're going off of memory one more time. Just to run it back for those who didn't catch it last week. Founded by former left-handed pitcher Rob Nelson, Big League Chew started from humble beginnings in the Portland Mavericks bullpen in 1977. For more than 40 years, the iconic pouches packed with shredded, flavorful bubblegum has become the number one shredded gum of athletes everywhere. Big League Chew has sold more than 900 million pouches and is designated as the Hall of Fame bubblegum. Grab some gum, head to Big League Chew's social media channels, at Big League Chew on Twitter, at Big League Chew Gum on Instagram. I do recommend checking them out on TikTok as well to show off your Big League bubbles. And you can find a list of retailers to purchase any of their products directly from their website at bigleaguechew.com. Big League Chew, BLC. Just ran through the whole thing again based on memory. Goat me now. Perfect timing.
How did it go?
It went great. We had a good talk, good chat.
So there's nobody at the door. It was just the college kids downstairs just being nuisances. I'm really turning into that old man.
You are. I'm ready
at the
for it.
cloud.
I'm here for it. Yeah.
Gosh.
Knocked over your trash cans.
Man.
Yeah.
Where are we at? So you told me about Big League Chew. We talked.
I did.
I had a note here to talk Padres clinching, but I feel like you kind of just buried them before they
bury
even
them real quick?
got off
Yeah.
the ground.
Yeah.
So, really, is there any point in even talking about it? You have them, quote, being the most expensive first-round exit. So,
Yeah.
with that said, why do we need to even address the fact that they clinched?
I agree. Are they really hyped in San Diego? Are fans that hyped? Are they that excited about this? Are they that confident? What has Soto done since he's been a Padre, by the way? I'm going to look this up. Because I'm not getting any warm and fuzzies over here on this side. Like, at all.
This will be their first trip to the postseason in a full season for the first time since 2006.
As a Padre for 50 games, Juan Soto sitting 244, an OPS of 799, 6 home runs, 16 RBIs. So I ask again, who's hyped?
Here's the real question that we should be asking. Even with the buzz in San Diego the last couple of years, do they still really care about baseball?
What do you mean?
Like the Padres fans, even with the recent success, do they care about or I shouldn't say Padres fans, I should say San Diego as a whole. Does San Diego really care about baseball? Or is it still just this place you go to enjoy yourself, catch some good weather? It's not necessarily what I'm saying to be the case. I'm just asking.
I think what the case is, when you live in places like that, if your team loses, it's like, well, at least we have gorgeous weather and we're still here chilling. But if you're talking like Northeast, Northwest, and it's cold and chilly and wet.
That's what I'm saying.
You got the big bullpen jackets on, and then you lose. That hits different.
You feel that in your soul.
Different. Because now you're just cold and depressed.
Which is why I ask. You say you think they're going to be the most expensive first-round exit, and it's like, if that happens, what's the period of depression, quote, depression going to be for Padres fans? Like a couple days? It's like, all right, well.
Yeah, because...
Guess we're going to the beach this weekend.
Yeah, because they're just going to sit there and be like, well, the Mets are a different planet this year. That's what you're going to hear San Diego Padre fans say. So,
Nobody is saying that except Mets fans.
I think give it a couple days. The Mets got to build back up, get going a little bit again. Who better to beat up on than the Nats? And then again, I'm not scared of the Padres at all.
All right, you've made your thoughts known on the Padres very clear.
Some say the Brewers of the West.
Some say that it has been said. I've heard it. Wait, who are the Brewers of the East?
Rays. The Rays are the Brewers of the
East.
Yeah.
Some say the Brewers of the West.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm all about it. Tony La Russa expected to announce his retirement. It should be any moment if he hasn't done it already.
He's still sleeping.
All right. Well, there's not going to be La Russa slander here, so just going to make that clear right out of the gate.
It's been a year-long Tony La Russa slander home base here.
Yeah, this is like Tony La Russa slander HQ. Only the warranted slander. Only the warranted slander. Like,
yeah. None about health stuff. I don't care about that.
No. But I'm saying like dating back to like his hire. Like you want to rewind it back that far. Like we were like in his corner. We're like, all right, let's just wait before we just totally want to blow the whole team up. Just wait it out and see. Wins the division. Granted, they lose out in the ALDS. But like, I don't know. I can understand where the frustration comes from as White Sox fans because you're like, we're capable of so much more. But really, up until all this nonsense started happening, I was in Tony's corner. But then it all went out the window. You intentionally walk multiple guys when you got them down to 2 strikes.
That's what I'm saying.
You're dozing off in the first inning of a game, literally the first inning of a game. I mean, it's just not. You can't defend that, and like it's really unfortunate with all the health and everything. But I truly think for both Tony and the organization moving forward, this is the best decision, and I don't think you can really make an argument otherwise.
He's making old guys look bad, so you're just making senile decisions.
Well, it's just it's bad when you look up Tony La Russa's career. You just type in Tony La Russa, and it always starts with Hall of Fame manager Tony La Russa. The man is in the Hall of Fame already.
Yeah.
And is still managing. Usually it's the other way around.
Yeah.
Usually you do what you do, and then you get the honor.
But
he said, I'm going to get the honor, and then I'm going to go back.
That's the problem. This is what he's going to be remembered for our generation and the generation below us. This is how he's going to be remembered. What's the Batman quote? You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain, right? That's villain numero uno in Chicago. Again, you have it all down on paper. That team's a good team. There was a disconnect there. Big disconnect. And yes, it does come like the players have to accept some of that responsibility for being an underwhelming team and underperforming this year. But there was a disconnect. And when the fans feel it, I feel like the fans are always the last ones to feel it. You know what I mean? You got the front office, you got the clubhouse, you got the players. They're all feeling it, and that's an internal thing. When you start to see that internal feeling creep out and fans and media start picking up on it, there's no putting that cat back in the bag. There's no way. That's what happened. And they were doomed. As soon as that happened, they were doomed. And then you begin to question every single decision Tony La Russa makes while your ball club is playing under their caliber.
Yeah, it gets to the point if you're Tony La Russa where if you make so many, I'll just say it, boneheaded decisions, walking guys intentionally walking guys with 2 strikes. If you do things like that so frequently,
Yeah.
you get to a point as a manager where you can't impress your fans, you can't impress your organization, you can't impress the baseball world because they're just hoping that you do enough to meet status quo, to do the bare minimum. Because you've dug yourself in such a hole to where it's like, okay, now he's making adequate decisions. He's making sensible decisions. This is as good as it gets. You can't go out there and try to outwit or outmanage another club, because whether it's in your own head or just the perception of the fans that are watching your games, you're fighting an uphill battle, and you're trying to just do the bare minimum to make yourself not look like an idiot.
Right. And if you think about like the example of intentional walking, if you think of that as an example, especially in the middle of a count, especially with 2 strikes, what does that do? I mean, that just immediately shows you have zero confidence in your guy on the mound. And if you have zero confidence in your guy on the mound, and that's visible, and it's multiple times with multiple pitchers, that is a disconnect. That guy had no pulse on the clubhouse at all.
And like, if you're trying to give the appearance that you're in tune with numbers and analytics and all that, because that was his response.
It's just like buzzwords, right? Yeah. Those are buzzwords for those older managers now. If you can admit that you're open to analytics, you're going to get hired. That's basically what these older managers have to say. They're forced to say that they're open to analytics just to get hired.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like, if that's your way of showing that you're open to it, is by saying, well, look at what the numbers say. Find a different way to show it.
Yeah.
Like, there are other ways to show that you're open to analytics. Your defensive alignment, your batting order. Change something else. Don't make this your example. Be like, well, I did it.
Yeah.
I listened and followed the analytics. There are other ways, Tony. There are other ways. And you know that. You're a Hall of Fame manager. Come on.
Man managed by Braille this year. No bueno.
Terrible. Shohei Ohtani, 1 year, $30 million contract extension, largest given to an arbitration eligible player. What do we think here?
Still gets dealt. He's still going to get dealt. If the Angels are smart, he's going to get dealt. And they'll eat a third of this. That's the way I see it. You know, I mean, this arbitration stuff. So it's like he wasn't going anywhere anyway. This had to happen. I see a possible sign and extend kind of thing. Trade and extend. So this is going to be a long, drawn out talk, similar to what we got with Soto. I don't see it happening quickly. I don't see it happening. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's going to be a list. It's going to be a list of teams that are in the hunt, and then it starts to narrow down after a few months. If the Angels are smart, they'll start their season with him and, you know, use that just because why not, right? That sells tickets. And
did you say tickets?
I did.
That's fine. I was just asking if you said tickets.
All right, cool. Just wanted to make sure. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. So I see this
the answer to all your ticket
trade.
needs. You looking for tickets? You have plans with friends and family to make it to an upcoming game or concert? Are you looking for tickets? Are you looking for tickets? Are you looking for tickets? Are you even looking months ahead to net down a date for tickets before I sell out? With SeatGeek, you can find tickets at games, concerts, shows, and even theater performances with just a few easy clicks. We're making it even better for you if you're a first-time user of SeatGeek. Next time you add some tickets to your cart, use our promo code 30TAKE. That's our social handle at checkout to save $20 instantly off your first purchase as a first-time user. It's all you got to do to save some of that.
One single credit card swipe, tap, or insert to the value of $20.
Enter promo code 30TAKE. That's our social handle at checkout.
Do you agree? Do you see anything differently folding out for the Angels and Shohei?
I don't know, dude. I can't make sense of anything that the Angels do. I truly am baffled by the way that they run their organization.
Yeah.
And like I know people are like, well, the bit is old, like it's tired, like come up with some new material for the Angels. It's like until they can show me that they can do something else.
Yeah.
It's not a bit. It's reality. Yeah. What have the Angels done? Yep. How many times have we seen Mike Trout in the postseason? How many times have we seen Shohei in the postseason? It all goes back to what they do, the philosophy that they run that organization by. And it just doesn't work.
It's all lined up. I'm telling you, it's all lined up because what has the argument been for Shohei on the MVP side of things this year, right? Like if he pitches and if he hits for a full year, he will be in the MVP conversation because no one else is doing that. So he's going to be in the MVP talk all beginning of next year, maybe halfway through. Angels are going to fizzle out. They're going to be 15 games back by trade deadline, and they're going to ship him out of there. And then he's going to continue to be an MVP for his new team, and he's probably going to win MVP next year. There you go. And he's going to sign an extension before the award. There's my full prediction for Shohei for the next 365 days.
Well, it'd be like 365 and some change.
Well, it'd be like 380, 390. Yeah. Because of the awards. Yeah.
Yeah. There's your 390-day
Shohei prediction.
There you go.
Mark it down.
Heard it here first. Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't even give you a guess as to what they do. What
do you have
said
a landing spot
it
for
sounds good. No, because it's such a unique situation that you can't even really look at a team and be like, well, what are their needs? Because Shohei fits so many.
Right.
And you also have to look at the potential contract down the pipe that's inevitably coming. And it's like, okay, well, who can even sniff that? Who's willing to sniff that?
Right.
It's just, I don't know. It's just not your typical like free agent discussion.
If the Giants miss out on Judge, I could see a little Shohei action in San Francisco.
Yeah, he would fit in really well with that organization, I feel like. I mean, he'll fit in.
Yeah.
I think there are few teams that he wouldn't fit in well with.
Yeah. I think he wants to stay West Coast. I see that just because of the fact that, like, Japan, I'm not totally sure. You can fact check me on the time zone difference and everything, but I'm pretty sure they're able to watch his games in Japan because he's on the East Coast or the West Coast. And I think he chose West Coast initially for that reason. I think he stays.
Stays West Coast, yeah.
I think he stays West Coast.
I could see it.
The Giants make sense. If they miss out on Judge, I think the Giants would make sense. There's another little sprinkle of seasoning to that prediction pot.
There you go.
You're welcome.
Wait, prediction to the what? Oh, to the pot.
Seasoning to the prediction pot.
Yeah. I thought you said pop because I was going to segue into Albert Pujols' 701st home run, and I was going to say, well, speaking of pop, I just wanted, like I said, I wanted to give you, before we hopped on, I wanted to give you a platform.
A whole lot of juice, huh?
To address 701. Because, look, I'm sorry. Again, going back to the whole bit discussion, like if you want to call this a bit, if you want to call this a skit that we've milked out, that's fine. But you cannot go back and look at 701 from Albert Pujols and tell me that there was not something a little questionable going on there.
There's no way, dude. Out in front. And if you listen to the video, that sounds like a broken bat. And we're going Big Mac land?
Third deck. On his front foot, bottom half gone.
Off
and
the end of the bat.
You're telling me Albert of old here is getting that?
There's no way, dude. There's no way that's not juice.
Old man Albert? I don't think so.
Yeah. I don't think so either. I'm tired of saying it. I apologized. I wrote my letter.
You did.
It was official.
That's fine.
I dressed up.
And look, it makes sense.
Pujols is still a Hall of Famer, despite what these comments are. He's still a legend. Still one of the greatest right-handed hitters of all time. But these balls are juice.
Good on Major League Baseball because they've had some pretty idiotic oversights in the last few years. Good on Major League Baseball for sticking to the narrative, though, with this and not swapping back regular baseballs. Because at that point, you just blow the cap off the whole thing. And then it's like, okay, well, Albert ended his career.
Yeah, he's going to stand there pimping one, and it's going to be caught at the track because he's going to be like, huh.
Not even. He's going to end his career
that kind of barrel before. That was going 480.
No, he would end his career going 3 for 60 with 45 rollovers to third base. That would be the ultimate indicator right there. But good on Major League Baseball for saying, no, we're going to stick to this. We're going to see it through. We're going to give him 703, maybe even 704 by the time it's all said and done. And we're going to put a nice bow on this thing for Albert. So good for Major League Baseball for not missing that, because that could have been an easy slip up. That's good. That's good awareness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say about it.
Yeah.
That's all I got left.
I
can't dig in on that anymore.
You've done your fair share. You've said your piece.
Yeah.
That's really all I got. Last episode of the regular season.
Yeah. That's wild.
Next episode will be, talk about a season that just, I feel like, flew by.
I feel like it's been a little bit longer. I feel like it's a little bit longer than what I'm used to. Yeah.
I kind of lose track, to be honest with you.
I feel like it's been a long one. I'm excited, though. This postseason is going to be a lot of fun. And I know that I've been talking noise about like those last teams sneaking in. I like the new format. I think it's going to be good. And I like the advantage that it provides those other two division winners. I think that's the biggest thing for me. The advantage that first and second seed get. And the other guys are going to be in their fourth and fifth spot in the rotation by the time they're game 2 of the ALDS or NLDS. I like that. That's a big battle. And it made that series with the Braves and Mets even more meaningful. So, bravo.
A rare Manfred dub.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, it wasn't even his idea, so I don't even know.
No.
Whoever I need to give credit to, please let me know. Because I know it wasn't him.
Old Bobby Manfred ain't getting the credit there.
Other than that, though, that's all I got.
Cool. Good stuff. Get on chalkboard. Like I said, just get your head out of your rear. Come hang out with us. It's pretty simple. I'm going to start blocking you on Instagram if you don't start messaging me there. Let's just put it that way. Don't go chasing curveballs when you're doing that, though, I guess. I'm trying to be positive. Don't go chasing curveballs. Let's go. Let's go. Postseason baseball. Here we go. Get geared up. Get fired up. Talk to me, KC.
We love you all, and as always, looking forward to talking more baseball with you guys soon. Until the postseason, stay filthy.